Hi guys, like I promised, I'm going to make a tutorial for a flyer, and I decided to do this specific flyer. Yeah, so I'm going to take you on a step to step journey on how to make this, or how I made this. And I'm going to do two of them. I'm going to do this and this specific one. Okay, I did the first one, but the client asked me to add images, so I did this one. So I'm going to show both of them from scratch. And for those who are familiar with Photoshop, I'm using Photoshop 2020. So let's create a new project. So I usually love my projects being 1080 by 1080 because most social media platforms you can upload such, you can upload the box. It's somehow a box, unlike maybe if I made a landscape or a portrait flyer and then I use the resolution of 72. My color mode is RGB with the white background. So the first thing I usually do is add the details. For this specific flyer, it was a thank you, like a thank you card or something, or a thank you post or flyer. So I first added the details that the client had sent me. That was the thank you text. So you do that. Then I add them in black and white. So I first add them in black and white before I even decide on how I'm going to structure anything. So I know this is going to be my title, so I write thank you in big words. Then this is the text that was supposed to be there, thank you text from the client. So I also do the same for that. Let me copy it again. Then I put it in a black color. Then I had these two other texts, the best wishes and the hashtag. So I also copy that. And then I think those who are not familiar with Photoshop are going to have a hard time maybe understanding what I'm really doing. But this is the character panel, whereby you select the color of your text. You can set up maybe the fonts. I choose my fonts here, and then you can the size of the text. This is where I'm doing all that. This is where I'm selecting my color, and then I take the hashtags. And maybe once I've done that, I usually arrange the text in the way they are supposed to be. Okay, like right now I know this text is supposed to be there. If I had maybe a date, for example, maybe I'd choose where to place it, maybe on top of the thank you, or maybe below the thank you. But right now, since I had already this structured, I think I already know how to structure it. But you can choose a different structure. Basically, you can put the hashtags anywhere. So I center all this before I start selecting. The next thing I do is select my fonts. Maybe I'll first center them. You see what I did, I used the align tools. They are usually here, and you have to select this. So I select the background and maybe a text, for example. If I wanted it to be aligned to the end, at this end, I'd have to press that. In the center, I press that, and this other one, it will go to the right side. But for this specific one, we're going to do center. Then this one is the top, center, and bottom. But then to make your work neat, you can arrange this in a group. These are the texts, or maybe you can write details or text details, anything. Then I arrange them as they follow. We have the thank you at the top, we have the text after the thank you, we have the best wishes, and then we have the stay safe. So the next thing I usually do is select my fonts. For this specific flyer I used let me see which I used Poppins for this text. All these texts are in Poppins, and then we have, let me see which is the main. Oh yeah, here the thank you is in Edwardian script. Okay, what I usually do is just sample depending on different flyers. Like for example, this flyer I thought the thank you will be good if it was carved, so I can, for example, come here and select and choose a different font. We can actually use a different font apart from the one we use here. Let's see which font we can use before we even do anything else. Yeah. So I have a couple of fonts, but obviously no designer uses all his fonts. So let's see. I think a curved font will do best. And then I don't think that one looks great. We can also use this. I think this one looks great, but I don't love the T. I don't love how the T is not visible. Yeah, or maybe we can use this. Actually, let's use this. This is Amazing Kids, and then I can make it a little bit bigger right here. You see, it's in I think 270 would be fine for this one. Yeah, and then I center it again. I ensure it's centered. Yeah, and then it's not a must for me to. You see, in this specific flyer, I had placed the thank and you in two different lines, but I think it looks great like this. And then now I can arrange them better, knowing that I don't know if this is visible. Maybe I can put it in semi-bold. Yeah, I think it looks better that way. And I think 20 will just be fine. Then I can lower it a little. Then ensure it's centered again. Arrange the best wishes, bring it down a little bit so that it looks separate from the text itself. So yeah, I think we are good with the fonts. I think Poppins is a great font. If you don't have Poppins, you should get Poppins. If you look at it, it has from thin to black. You can see how the thin looks. Let me see. It's specific. Yeah, like this one. Let us see how the thin looks. You see, you can have thin, maybe depending on. For the thin, mostly you can use it with bigger text. You can have bold. It basically has a lot. So I think I'd recommend that font. Yeah. So the next thing I usually do is now try and get a background. Maybe now I've already arranged my text. Maybe I had some images the client had sent me or something. So I'd try and create a background. Normally I usually have, before I even think of any other thing, any other background, I usually have some of my gradient backgrounds. I love gradient backgrounds because they look great. So I usually, okay, for those who don't know what I did, I just double clicked here, and then it will bring the layer styles. That's where maybe you can add a gradient to the layer. Okay, I added a new layer, then I added the layer styles. So I usually have some custom backgrounds. Some come with Photoshop, but some of these are mine, like this one. Some maybe I've just sampled from the internet. Yeah, you see, like this. So the specific one that I used for this flyer was, which one was it? I think it was this one. Was it this one? Yeah, I think it was. really. It was a purple one. But basically, what you can do is sample a few of these. I think this one is the one I used. You can sample a few of. You can get different backgrounds if maybe you want to use what is it called? If maybe for example you want to use images, you can use an image. You can also use shapes. Maybe I'll be doing other tutorials for such, but now for this specific file I'll be using a gradient. Let me just add this new gradient. I don't think I have it. So yeah, I don't think I had added that gradient to my custom, but okay. So I'm sorry if I'm okay. Yeah, here it is. So this is the gradient I used for this specific flyer, and I used it reflected, and then it was not in reverse. Yeah, it was like this. It was reflected, and then yeah, at an angle of 69. But you can basically, there's no structure to this. You can basically play around with anything, and then like you see, my text doesn't really look great after I've added that background. It's dark, so I opted to make my text white. So that's why my text are white, because white I think white looks better on this specific background. Like you can see, I used white. And then something else you can do is play around. I don't know if you see, like behind the thank you here, we have another thank you that is somehow faded. That's just, maybe I can show you that trick. You just duplicate the thank you, and then maybe you make it a little bit bigger. You control, I did control T, then I made it a little bigger. For Photoshop 2020 you actually just use Alt. I know in previous versions you used to do, is it control Alt, and then, but for this one you just use Alt. To make something bigger, you just press on Alt and then you move with your left mouse. And then what I did again was bring it below the main thank you text, and then change the color of this one to this background. And now you can see how it looks. It's as if it's a faded. You can bring it at the top a little bit, and maybe try and align it a little bit like that, and then you can see somehow it's somehow faded. You can also maybe use such a color, and then reduce the opacity. You can reduce the opacity, and you can see it somehow gives you the same effect, but I think I'll stick to this purple color. And what else did we do? Yeah, so to try, and you see, as of now it looks a little bit plain. It's coming up really good, but it looks a little bit plain. So maybe I tried adding some boxes, and I thought the stay safe, stay blessed, commercial corona was a good thing, was a good thing to highlight. So I used the box, I used the rectangle, not a box. I used the rectangle under it, and then I used the color. The rectangle was color purple. Okay, purple and a little bit of like orangish usually match well. So that's the color I opted for. And then yellow and white don't really match well, so I have to change the text to maybe a color that is more dark. So I sampled this color of the gradient. As you can see, it looks a little bit better. You can even make it a little bit darker maybe. I think that purple is okay. And then maybe try and align both of them. You will click on the text and the rectangle, and then click on the selection tool, and then you align both of them. Make sure they are both aligned, and then you can also group them so that maybe just for organization, but I'm sure most of us don't organize our layers. Anyway, moving on. So what else? I don't know if you see this in this flyer we have these like circular things. I think I'll show you where I got them. I don't really know if I can remember, but I googled thank you flyer. I usually google a lot. Yeah, this is where I got them. So thank you flyer, and then I took this specific flyer, and then I thought this was a really great design, the circular. I actually wanted to try it on the middle thank you part, but I think it didn't fit well with my flyer. So what I've done is I've downloaded the image, basically I've copy pasted, and then I've added it to my layer, and then so I got this yellow part. I used the quick selection tool, whereby I right click and then select color range, then sample the yellow part, and then okay, as you can see it has selected only that part, and then I control J, whereby it will select only. Make sure you're on the layer of the image when you're doing that. So after that, what I did was I copy pasted this a few times, but I tried and positioned them where I thought they would look great, like at the corners. I had one there, I had one here, and then maybe you can turn it so that like those edges that are somehow like wavy, these edges, you can see they are not like clear. I think they look really nice. So and then I had one on this other side, maybe something like that, and then there's no structure, you basically just play around with them. Yeah, I think as you can see it has changed a lot. It has changed a lot in the fly. It looks a little, it looks at least it looks better than it was. Yeah. So and yeah, there you have it. I don't think there is anything else I'd added. So what else can we do? Maybe if you think this is a little bit plain, you can try and get some things from the internet, maybe like what like fire sparks, maybe like fire sparks background. Let's see what we get from that. Yeah, I think we can try and add something like this, and then I can show you how to add. I think this blue one looks great. Let's see if we have another one. Let's try this blue one. So I'll copy this image into my Photoshop. You basically just copy the image instead of downloading it, and then I love bringing these layers. These layers form the background. I love bringing them at the bottom. You can merge them to actually form a background layer, a background group. And then I think I'll make this one a little bit bigger. As I said, you press on Alt, not like the previous Photoshops. So as you see, it doesn't look really great, but what you can do is use blending modes, whereby you can. I love lighten. Lighten does its work really well. You can use lighten, and then you maybe fade them a little bit. But I think I've made it a little bit too big, so it looks as if it has pixelated. So maybe you can make it smaller so that it doesn't pixelate, something like that. And then to avoid, I think it blends really well. If I was asked, but you can also try a little bit more. You can look at better things, maybe like let's try this one. Don't know. Yeah, let's try this one. I think this one looks also good. You can add it, and then the reason I'm actually trying so that I'm actually making it bigger so that it fits. It's so that I don't have to. It doesn't look like it's misplaced. You see, like for example, if it was at this point and then I tried also to add a blending mode, you can see like it's somehow boxed. You see these lines and such. So that's why I'm trying to make it big so that it fits on the edges, so that we don't have such problems. Then yeah, you can actually see how it looks. Yeah, you can add it maybe at the center. and such. Yeah, but for this specific class, since it's a thank you, I thought it would be better if it didn't have such background, so the straight backgrounds. So I think you can save as a JPEG, and you're ready to send it to your client. So another thing I did for this so the client actually asked me, let me first duplicate this layer. Okay, let me just show it to you. The client asked me to make such a flyer with such images. You see, like the way the images are gridded, and then we have the information below here. So what I did is I took that image. Let me copy it to the project we are using for this tutorial. So you duplicate it, and then you have it there. Let me bring it to the top so that you see it well. So what I did is, first of all, I made sure this image had filled the whole what is it called, the whole canvas. And then I tried, and since the images were to fit into this specific like location, you can see like how we have this bottom edge here. I decided to create this edge, then I can clip the images. What clipping is, it's like the images will only show in this part, top part, when I click the images. So first of all, what I did is I tried to create that, and how I did it was I selected the white part of this specific what is it called, this specific image, and then we did it with this quick selection tool. Then we do the color range, and then we select the white part. I don't know if you've seen, but you see right here where my selection is, you can see it as somehow selected, but it's not really good because of these white edges, but I'll show you how to fix that. So once you've selected that, you can create a new layer out of that. What you can do is actually duplicate the same layer. Let me go back a little. Yeah, so you select again. Yeah, so you actually control J, and then if you see how it has selected this specific part. So what I'll do is I'll color these edges that are not white, and I'll tell you why. I'll show you why later on. So I'll actually color them with white. This is, I'll use my brush tool and then color them with white so that it's fully, because what it did when I selected the color range, it selected only the white parts, and you can see we have the logos, the text that are not in white, but I need them to be all in white, and I'll tell you why. I'll actually show you why, not tell you. So let's do that. Let's paint these parts white so that they are all in white. So this is actually my first tutorial, so if I mess up, you'll have to forgive me. So, and then these other white parts, what I do is I'll actually delete them. I'll delete them. So I'm using the rubber tool, and then I delete them so that, let's see, let me first move this so that I can see. What I did is I hid the details so that I'm able to see this layer as well as I delete. The reason I'm deleting is because the images will not, once I'm trying to create somewhere where I can clip the images, and if I don't do this in those white parts that you're seeing, the images are not going to show, which will kind of make it not really straight, or it won't look great, in short. Yeah, so yeah, so then I've already created this part, but this white part is the part that if I was to clip, this is the part that the images are going to show. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this, let me see, I'm going to double click on this layer, and then it has selected the not really double, just control, and then you click here, and if you see, it has selected this part, and then I'm going to select the reverse of that part. Let me show you. Select inverse. You just right click, and then you select inverse. It has selected the part that I want to click my images. So I'll then add what is it called, layer mask. I create a layer mask, and if you see what it has done, the below part is black. What a layer mask does, the white part is usually the visible part, and the below part is the dark part, is usually the part that is not visible. Basically black is for not visible, white is for visible. So using this shape that I had here, I've created a layer mask, and the white part is now the visible. And I'll show you what I mean in a few. Once I start placing the images, you'll see what I mean. So let me get the images that I used and the images that had been sent. So these are the images. Let me just copy paste, let me just duplicate that group into our canvas. So yeah, so these are the images. Before I even do anything to the images, let me delete this part. So I have my images. What I did first of all, after I got these images, there are a couple of images, like as you can see them, there are a few images. What I did was I added so that they can look separate, they don't look like it's one whole image, because if I didn't have if I didn't have the stroke. And what I did was I just double clicked, I came here, added a stroke. As you can see, this part, it's hiding the stroke. I added a stroke, a white stroke, and then I did that to all of them so that they can be separate, because if it doesn't have a stroke, you can see how they look like. You see how they look like they don't look like they're separated. So that's why I added a stroke so that it looks separated. Yeah. And then something else I did was clip them. You see an example of right now, you see these images are what can I say, they can go anywhere in this image, as you see. But if I use this specific, let me add this let me ask our layer, this clipping mask layer, let me name it our clipping mask layer. Then I'll add it to the bottom. Always the images that, or the layer that you're clipping should be on top of the layer you're using to clip. So I have selected all of them, and then I select create clipping mask. And then you see the reason it's not showing, it's because this layer, and I'll show you why. Let me just bring them to the bottom, and you'll understand maybe why they are not showing. The reason they are not showing is because this top layer, the layer that we made the layer mask with, is blank. So we have to color it. Let me select this layer and then make it white, and you see there now that it's white. Otherwise, the reason it was blank, for clipping mask it has to have something, it can't be an empty layer. So yeah, as you can see now, we can see the images. And the reason I was telling you black, you see for the black part, where the black part is, this black part, we can't see images. So if for example I bring this down, we won't see anything, but if I bring these ones on top, we can see. And then we can make them a little bit bigger so that they fill up these white edges that you're seeing, these white edges, and I think that looks great. So that is the only thing I added to this second flyer. You can see, like, we had the first flyer with, you see, I said we are going to create this flyer and this flyer. I think that's the only thing I had added. And yeah, so the only other thing you should do is organize these layers, and maybe bring the hashtags a little bit down, a little bit closer, bring this message a little bit down so that you can fit in the thank you, and you can make that smaller and then bring that down there. So basically that is the only thing I added to the second flyer, and now you can save it and add it, send it to your client. So I hope that was a helpful tutorial. If maybe you have any other questions and you need any other help, you can contact me. And yeah, thank you.